Child Impact International is an organization giving hope. Previously called Asian Aid, Child Impact International is an organization fostering permanent positive change in the lives of disadvantaged children and their communities. Child Impact is committed to making a difference in the lives of children and those who are in need, serving communities in India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and will soon expand to other countries. For the last 50 years, Child Impact has invested in the futures of people, and their investment has proven infinite returns. Driven by the dedication to helping those who have the least, Child Impact is an organization focused on the welfare of children, implementing diverse development projects, and sponsoring thousands of children. Their outreach spans from child rescue operations to providing an education for orphans, deaf, and the blind children, giving them a sense of place, a home. But above all, Child Impact is an organization giving hope to children, giving hope to communities, giving hope to the ones who need it the most. This is Hope in Motion.
I'm Jim Rennie, and for over the last 8 years, I've been CEO of Asian Aid USA. Asian Aid was established over 50 years ago, and in that time, it's helped tens of thousands of children in over 5 countries. As a part of a bold new strategy, we're changing our name. We are now Child Impact International. We feel our new name will better encompass the work that we do. Let me briefly explain what I mean. This exciting new name, Child Impact International, will give us momentum as we move forward to help thousands of additional children. As we worked with our focus groups, we felt Child Impact International describes who we are and what we do for the following reasons. This name reflects far more clearly the critical work that we are doing with very needy students, their families and mission schools. Child Impact International gives momentum and direction to a bold growth strategy that will impact the lives of thousands of additional children. This name avoids any confusion in regards to where we work and what people consider Asia. This name gives a clear distinction between this organisation and Asian Aid Australia, which are completely separate. The name Child Impact International provides us the opportunity to help more children and expand our activity beyond Asia. Internally, nothing will change. The board, staff, policies and work we do will stay the same and at the same level of excellence that we are known for. We're staying in Collegedale, Tennessee. Philosophically, however, the new name, Child Impact International, will allow our organisation to expand and give momentum to help thousands of new, needy children. You have an opportunity to be involved in the mission field every day, every morning with child sponsorship. You can impact on the lives of children just like these ones here. You can help set their lives on a new course and also give them hope that can change their lives forever. Our funds go directly to support the needs of an Adventist mission school, which heightens the quality of education, just not for the children who are sponsored, but all the children in the school. The reality is that poverty is very hard to change. Child Impact International sponsorship program takes a child based on need and puts them in an Adventist mission school. It gives them a direction, it gives them hope, and also has an impact in the communities and with their families and friends. Together, you and I can have a huge change on an entire community, just like the ones around this school. For existing donors, the only change you'll see is an advancement in the communication between your child and projects. You'll see a real difference by using new technologies to keep you up to date on how you support Child Impact. The work of Child Impact International will continue to grow in the countries we already operate in, like India, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Nepal and Sri Lanka. And as opportunities arise, we will expand into other countries. The poverty which you see in communities like this is real. These families struggle to feed and educate their children. You can have an impact right here, right now, by becoming a sponsor of a child or partnering with Child Impact. Child Impact is a fully supportive ministry of the Adventist Church and supports children and orphans and special needs children in Adventist homes and mission schools. Each child's life is changed and the mission school gains unique funds. You have an opportunity to be involved in the mission field every day by becoming a sponsor or a supporter of Child Impact International.
I've had the opportunity to visit India and Myanmar with Child Impact International. These trips have provided me with fantastic insight as to how Child Impact works and the work that they do with thousands of children. The sponsorship program is absolutely what makes this entire organization be effective, and they are extremely effective. Jim, tell us a little bit more about this sponsorship program. First of all, I'd like to know how many children are being sponsored at the moment, and what are the countries that the children are in?
Well, Jamie, we're in 6 countries. We have 3,500 children in Adventist mission schools. Our biggest country is India, then Bangladesh and Myanmar, and we also have children in Nepal and Sri Lanka.
Okay, excellent. How do you select the children for sponsorship?
Well, children are selected on need, all right, and the definition of needy varies from country to country, but these are people well below the poverty line, and also people that the parents want their child to go to an Adventist school who are very poor. So we take them based on need and we put them in an Adventist mission school.
Okay, now when I was there with you, I saw that there are different schools, there are different categories of sponsorships. Can you explain that for us?
Yes, well, first of all, we have a day student. That's a child who obviously lives near the school and walks to the school or gets public transport. Then we have boarding, which is our biggest category. These are children who attend boarding school, and so the sponsorship not only covers their education, it covers the accommodation and it covers the food. Then we actually allow donors to sponsor their children to higher education, which we call tertiary in those countries, and that may be a degree course or it may be a course to give them a trade or a future. And then we have special needs children. This is our school for the blind, the deaf school, or orphans. And so this category is critical to these children,
Yes.
because these children have huge needs. So there's the special needs category as well.
And I visited an orphanage and a blind school with you, and these kids would otherwise probably never have an opportunity to excel in life. And I was moved by how these children are being developed with their shortcomings, but with their talents and gifts to be able to honor and glorify God and share with others as well. Tell me, is it costly to sponsor a child in any of these categories?
Well, I guess compared with education where we are, it's not costly. The day student starts off at $25 a month. A boarder is $38 a month. A special needs child is $48 a month. And that covers their education. If they're a boarder or the special needs, it covers them at either the blind school, the deaf school or the orphanage. It also includes a book allowance and also a uniform allowance. So it's quite comprehensive
Yes.
to cover their needs to attend that Adventist mission school.
Fantastic. Now tell me, my wife and I have given funds to sponsor children before, but let's say somebody's watching this right now and wants to sponsor a child. How can they do that?
Well, the best way is to go onto our website, which is childimpact.org. That's childimpact.org. And there you go to the sponsorship page and you can choose your country, you can choose your category, and you'll see a range of children that are available. Now, if you can't get online, just give us a call our office, and the ladies there will be very happy to talk to you about what current children are available or what the needs are.
Okay. So let's say somebody watching right now wants to sponsor a child. Can you explain how the funds that somebody gives to Child Impact actually gets to that child?
Yes, Jamie, well, that's a good question. First of all, we are a registered 501c3 charity, so the donation is tax deductible. Secondly, and we want the donors to know, we retain 15% for overhead. We believe that's very fair.
Yes.
Last year it was only 11%, but at the maximum it can be up to 15%. Then the money goes direct to our partner in country, and then it goes direct to the school. So we have to have our own on-the-ground organisation, and the money goes to them, and then it goes direct to the school. And then we have field officers, and each child is visited 3 times a year. We check that the funds have arrived, and we check each individual child. And then the donors get school reports. They get an APR, annual performance report. And just like your own children's report, sometimes they're exciting, sometimes you might be disappointed. But you can also write to your child,
Yes.
and your child will write to you. So we believe we've got a good system that delivers accountability, but also involves you with the child in correspondence and reports.
Well, as I mentioned before, I have been to India and Myanmar with Child Impact, and I have seen firsthand the incredible results that these sponsorships have on the lives of these young people. These projects work efficiently to give these young people the best Christian education that they can have and a future. It's made me realize the huge hope that it's giving these children and their families. I also saw the impact on the Adventist mission schools. It makes them thrive and grow. Would you please consider sponsoring a child today?
I just got a letter from our sponsor daughter, Sheila. And I've got to tell you, there is nothing like getting one of these letters. Our family has been able to sponsor her through Child Impact International. And because of that, she's got a great place to live. She's got good food. She's got great clothing. Best of all, I now found out she's in college. She's in nursing school. There's nothing like getting a letter like this. You need to start getting these letters too. Listen, through Child Impact, you can make a huge difference in the life of a child. And I promise you, it's going to make a huge difference in your life too.
Our television series, Hope in Motion, has been a big success, and we want to continue to share with you some of the field stories that we have filmed over the years. So just from time to time, it may refer to Asian Aid as we reflect on these great stories as we share them with you.
Situated amidst lush green paddy fields of Bobili in Andhra Pradesh, India, is an institution that is home to some of the most disadvantaged children in the society. This is the Asian Aid School for the Blind. In a world where blindness is considered a curse and blind children are abandoned, this campus is a refuge for children seeking care and comfort. The Asian Aid School for the Blind was established here mainly by the efforts of Asian Aid co-founder Helen Eager.
The Asian Aid School for the Blind is very important to me because actually I did find that we were supporting a few blind children up in Jharkhand, and they were being supported by someone in the US, and I thought, oh, this is so wonderful, I'm so glad our church is doing something for the blind. And then I went home to Australia, and then I got a letter just a few weeks later saying, this person in US is no longer supporting these children, so we've sent them all home. So that was basically the start of our blind program. I said, well, bring them all back, and we supported them there in Jharkhand, and then we started the blind school actually in Andhra Pradesh.
Started with just a few children at its new location in Babili, the number of children at the school steadily increased each passing year. There are various circumstances that have contributed to these children losing their sight. Some of them are victims of accidents, some due to vitamin deficiency factored by lack of nutritious food, but most of them were born blind. The main reason children are born blind in these parts of Andhra Pradesh is due to a socio-economic practice that is prevalent in these cultures.
We have found that with the children that we support in the blind school, that nearly all of them, the parents are blood relatives. Now, the reason they do this is basically poverty as well, because if there is, a small piece of land, they don't want that piece of land to leave the family kind of thing. And so they will it's often uncles marrying their nieces. And of course, if your daughter marries a relative, then you don't have to pay a dowry.
While rural traditions and socio-economic difficulties dictate life in rural India, their children pay the price. Cultural issues are hard to understand. It may even seem bizarre and cruel at times. It's difficult to change people's perceptions that are rooted deep, but for all its traditions and practices, the fact remains that all parents love their children and want the best for them.
It's very difficult for you as a caring parent to find a way of giving your child a better life. So not only are we making a difference for the child, we're actually giving the parents some hope. They all care for their child, and they overcome with guilt and community pressure because their child is blind. So it helps overcome all these issues in giving the child a chance, but giving the parents hope that they simply have no other way of getting.
Jagan is a 9th grade student at the school. He comes from a small village about an hour's drive from the school. Jagan's parents are Dobis, a washerman community. In a class-divided world, they are at the bottom of the social structure and are pushed to the edge of the village.
When my first son was born, I was happy. My second son was born and I was very happy. But when my third child was born, my wife and I became very depressed.
As if living at the edge of the village wasn't bad enough, their hardship was compounded when their third child, Jagan, was born blind.
I'm a Dobi. I go to the pond in the morning and come back in the evening. He was let alone at home. When he goes into the street, other children made fun of him. This is how he spent his childhood here. He is blind. God made him that way. What can we do?
In rural villages where being handicapped is considered a curse, blind children face an uncertain future. This is where Asian Aid School for the Blind in Babili serves as a refuge for children born blind.
These children have very special needs. Their needs are even greater than people who do not have sight in a Western system, in a first world country, because they are ostracized, their families are ostracized. So creating this environment that focuses on them, gives them an education and gives them an opportunity to live a normal life is so transformational, not just now for the child, but the parents. Because now they don't have the same stigma. Their children can get on and live a productive life and contribute to society. A huge difference.
This environment that gives them an opportunity to live a normal life is indeed transformational. With the help of a local school teacher, Jagan was brought to the School for the Blind in Bobili, far away from the struggles of his parents and his community.
I'm so happy he is studying there at the school. When he gets a good education, he will get a good job. I'm really happy about that. Now he can become whatever he wishes to be in life.
The appreciation from these parents sometimes is just overpowering, because they are so proud that their child can go to this school, and they're so proud that when their child comes home, they can see a dramatic difference.
Okay, read that first ad.
First ad, sir. 24,000.
Child Impact International sponsors the majority of children living and studying at the school. Without sponsorship, these children would not have the opportunity for a new chance in life.
I really thank the Asian Aid sponsors, the donors. If the sponsorship is not there, my life will be not there.
Today is a special day for the staff and students of Asian Aid School for the Blind in Bobili, India. Standing on both sides of the entrance, the students and staff welcome the arrival of a special guest, Garwin McNeilis. Garwin is an Adventist businessman from Minnesota who has sponsored hundreds of children in India. He and his family have supported and built a number of urgently needed buildings for Adventist schools, including the School for the Blind in Bobili.
The needs of the blind school were first brought to me by Helen Eaker. And Helen showed a video of where they were, the conditions they were, and how they had to take their sleeping mattresses out, lay them outside, sometimes it's raining, put the desks in, have their class. And it made an impression that just wouldn't go away on my heart.
Moved by the plight of the blind children in an old crowded building in town, Garwin drew out a plan to move them to a bigger campus just outside Bobili town. He also designed the buildings.
This is beautifully designed for the blind children who cannot see. And once they get inside, they take a single walk. They can easily understand which side is a boys' hostel, which side is a girls' hostel. There is nothing to be confused.
The children now have a beautiful campus where they can feel safe and secure, their own home away from home. The Asian Aid School for the Blind is not just an institution that provides food and shelter for the blind, but it's an institution that prepares them for the world outside.
And remember, when they finish year 12, for example, I'm talking about the sight-impaired children, they can go on to university. And by giving them these opportunities, they can get jobs that are already there, that government has set aside for people with these sort of disabilities. So we are channeling them, giving them the skills, giving them the qualifications, preparing them for employment, but also we're giving them life skills.
These children may not have the ability to see, but this disability does not deprive them of the ability to learn. They are perfectly capable of acquiring skills needed for employment. In fact, the Indian government refers to them not as disabled, but differently abled, and the Asian Aid School for the Blind provides them an ideal place for these differently abled children to acquire skills. Without individual sponsorship, these children would not be here. Today, because of Child Impact Sponsorship Program and individuals supporting its program, hundreds of differently abled students like Jagan can receive an education that will help them to lead a dignified life. Whether one is able to contribute in a small way or in a big way, sponsorship endows these children's future.
Whether the Lord has blessed in different ways, we're accountable for what we have. We all know the Bible parable of the widow's mite, how she gave what she could. Some can do a child, some can do a half a child, some can do many child. But the combination of what the Lord has blessed you with is essential for the welfare of the children, and it will make a difference in eternity.
Thanks to the untiring efforts of Helen Eager, organizations like Child Impact International, and individual sponsors like Garwin McNeilis, children at the Blind School not only have a place where they can acquire life skills for the world outside, but they have a place where they can prepare their souls for the world to come.
I think of the blind school, if not daily, sometimes several times a day. And I think of the story when we were taking the children to get their eye operation, and Dorothy Watts, longtime friend of India, who's not with us anymore, and I were sitting on the bench, had a little girl. And the little girl, Dorothy says, "What do you want to do if your operation is successful? What is the first thing that you want to see?" And she said, "Well, I've held a kitty, I petted a cow." She says, "I want to see Jesus." And Dorothy said, "Well, we can see, but we can't see him." And she says, "Well, then show me a picture." And Dorothy said, "Well, your operation may not be successful." And she said, she thought, she had a look on her face, she says, "That's okay, I'll see him in heaven." Wow. Here this little girl, the first thing she wanted to see, if she could see, is Jesus. And I think when we wake up in the morning, is that our thought? The first thing we want to see is Jesus. It had such an effect. Jim, I think about it daily. The faith of a blind child cannot be explained. You need to come and feel it.